Hello, people. So next week is the Olympia, and with that in mind, a lot of athletes are going into their peak week, and it's talked about all the time. Peak week is where the magic happens. This is the best part of your prep. And let's be honest, when you've done a peak week, that is not the case. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 things about peak week that perhaps you haven't thought about. The first thing, water. Not all coaches do this, but a lot tend to. You increase your water and all you do is pee, pee, pee. You have to be within 30 seconds of a toilet wherever you go, because at some days you're drinking 6 to 8 litres of water, and it becomes a full-time job. I mean, as a bodybuilder, you should be drinking a good amount of water anyway. But in peak week, it increases usually. And your body is sort of just getting rid of all that excess water because reduction in inflammation, because your output is probably going down. You're not doing the cardio, you're not doing the steps. Your body is starting to relax. You're starting to get rid of all that water that you were holding, that inflammation in your legs. And yeah, you will need a toilet with you wherever you go. And I can tell you that on one peak week for me, this is going back about 7 years ago, my coach had me drinking 8 litres of water, and I had to drive from Southampton to Hemel Hempstead, where he was, and then back from Hemel Hempstead to Southampton. And on the way back, I was on about my 7th litre, and it was about 4 o'clock. And there was a fucking accident on the M25. And I can tell you, I had to pull over into the hard shoulder because I was in the car, like it was about an hour. Traffic just didn't move. And I can remember I was going hot, I was going cold, because I was, that feeling when you're so full of water. I felt sick. I thought, I've got to get out of this car. I need to pee. So I actually managed to pull over into the hard shoulder, and I had to go in the bushes and pee in the bushes, while all these cars are at a standstill around me. But it was either that or wet my knickers, and I wasn't going to do that. So I took the hit. So be prepared for that. You will need to drink a lot of water. Number 2, the magic of peak week. There is no magic. If you're not lean enough, doesn't matter how much water you drink, doesn't matter how many diuretics you take, or green tea, or I don't know, laxatives, whatever it is, you are not going to get in shape in peak week if you're not already in shape. You should really be ready 2 to 3 weeks before your show. And then peak week, you can just cruise in. You should be feeling good. You should be reducing your output, like we said before. In some cases, your food is going to increase. But yeah, expecting something magic to happen when you're still out of shape, it's not going to. In fact, you probably look worse. So the magic that everybody talks about isn't magic. It's just you are ready. And peak week is that time when your body gets to relax and unwind. So don't expect the magic. It's not going to happen. The magic is putting all the work in the weeks before so that you get lean enough. Okay, number 3. You think peak week is... I've just said, right? So I'm going to contradict myself. You think peak week is going to be a week of relaxing, okay? And yeah, it is to a degree, right? So your expenditure goes down. You're not doing an hour of cardio or 2 hours of cardio, whatever it is. You're not doing 20,000 steps. Your training is basically pump sessions. But as a woman, there are a million things you have to get done. Your hair, right? So first, most people go and have hair extensions, or they'll go and get a colour retouch or whatever, So you're talking about, 3 to 4 hours in the hairdresser. And I fucking hate going to the hairdresser at the best of times. So the hairdresser, nails, most women get their nails done. I mean, you can buy press-ons, but, it seems to be one of the things, you go and get your hands and your feet done. Again, you're there maybe 3 or 4 hours, depending on what you have done. You have to shave your body from head to foot. Now, when you're depleted and you're at the end of prep and you've got very little energy, shaving your entire body is not fun. It really, really isn't fun. And because you're so lean, it's almost like you're on a suicide mission because your skin is so thin. You have to be super, super careful that you don't cut yourself, especially in the groin, your armpit. The groin is the worst. If you cut yourself in the groin, you're bleeding for hours. It is a very difficult thing to do because obviously your brain function isn't top notch. Your physical function isn't top notch. You're feeling absolutely fucked, and then you have to shave your entire body. So bear that in mind. I always do it about, so I'll do the full proper shave. So if I'm competing on the Saturday, I'll probably do it on the Monday. And then I'll start doing it, because I always do a home tan, because I can't deal with the stress of going to have a spray tan. That's the next one of the next points I'm going to get to. But yeah, what I do is I shave probably on the Monday all over, and then on the Wednesday or Thursday, I'll do my final shave. Some people might need to do it slightly closer to the show, but you have to be careful because when you shave, you can get inflammation. You could get a rash. Touch wood, I never get anything like that. I'm not a very hairy person. So, you know, shaving my body isn't a massive issue. To be honest, I don't even shave my arms. I know some people shave their arms, they shave their stomach, they shave their back. I don't do that. They say you should, but in all honesty, I don't think it's made any difference. You know, if you're quite a hairy person, then you probably would need to, but I'm not, so I don't bother with that. Yeah, so what I would do is invest in a very good shaver. I'm trying to remember the make of the one that I've just... It's like a subscription one, and it's really good. If I can remember, I'll put a picture of it up there, okay? And they send you some like shaving lotion with it. Honestly, it's really good because I'm a bit of a cheapskate with stuff like that. I buy a Bic, you know. But I thought, no, I'll get these because I think the subscription is £9 monthly, but you can skip. So I don't do it every month. I do it like every 3 months because I don't go through that many razors. So yeah, you need to shave from head to foot. Buy a good shaving cream or lotion because that obviously helps. And if you have got sensitive skin, I would buy an aloe vera gel and put that on afterwards, especially if you're doing it like 4 or 5 days before, and then it gives your body time to recover. Then, after you've done that, you have to prep your skin. I mean, you should have been prepping your skin in the lead up anyway, right? You should be like doing your scrub, doing your moisturiser and all that nonsense, right? I'm kind of lazy with that. I'm lucky, right, because I've got good skin. I don't get spots, I don't get blackheads, I don't get any sort of shaving rash or anything like that, so I'm quite lucky. But I know some girls, they do suffer badly with shaving rash. So if you're one of those people, you know, you'll probably know your skin by now anyway. But I found aloe vera gel is very good. You know, if you've got anything like any sort of rash or sunburn or shaving rash, it's very good at soothing that. But they do say to buy the special Pro Tan or whatever your tan is that you're having, the pH Balance Body Scrub. Personally, I just use olive oil and sugar. My mum used to use it all the time on her hands, and it's like an old Italian wives' tale thing, you know. So I just use that, and honestly, my skin feels so good afterwards. And obviously, you're not paying 75 quid for a tub of it, you know. It's just some olive oil and some sugar. Like, you want some thick sugar, or you could use salt, I suppose. You could use like rock salt, but I've always used sugar because that's what my mum used to use. Like, I guess it's a bit more granular than what some salts can be. What else do you need to do? Right, so you've had your hair done, you've had your nails done, you've prepared your skin, you've shaved. Next, you have to think about what you need to take with you. So if you're traveling abroad, that's a ball ache. And what I do is I make a list. And again, if I remember, I'll put the list up here of the things that I take with me. You will need, obviously, some black clothing because you don't want your fake tan to get over anything. You'll need backstage clothing. You'll need your bikini. You'll need your heels if you wear heels in your category. You'll need your jewellery, your makeup, your tan, your toiletries, food. If you're staying in a hotel, which I have done, and what I did was buy a plug-in saucepan from Amazon, and that was the best investment that I've ever had because you can cook eggs in it, you can cook meat in it, you can cook porridge in it. It's amazing, and it's really light. So what I did was and you can unscrew the handle off it. So I unscrewed the handle off it, and then inside I would put all my like cream of rice, things like that, you know, they could be contained in within that saucepan. So that's a good tip. But yeah, if you're traveling abroad, you know, you need to think about all these things that you need to take with you. And it is quite stressful. I would suggest that you pack things, you know, like the clothes that you intend on wearing whilst you're there, pajamas, you know, that sort of thing. I would pack them in advance and then just leave the food and things to the last minute, because if you don't do it in advance, you'll stress out and you may forget something. Not that it's the end of the world. As long as you don't forget your bikini and your heels, you'll be all right. Because, you know, you're not going to a third world country. Wherever you're going, you'll be able to get what you need. But, you know, the less stressful it can be, the better. So make yourself a list. Cross it off as you packed it. And then I think with my food, what I do is I just take enough food for the day that I'm travelling and maybe another meal or two for the next day, just in case there's any issue with delays or whatever. And I've always got like, I usually, if I've got eggs in my plan, like egg whites, I'll boil up a load of eggs, hard boil them, leave them in their shells, and I'll take them with me, because in their shells they'll last a long time. So, you know, if you are given a fat sauce and you're at a pinch, and you say to your coach, look, you know, our flight is delayed, but I've got these eggs, your coach should be able to say to you, right, okay, well, you can have this many whole eggs and this many egg whites, you know. So always take like a little bit of a backup with you in case there is a delay. However, if you're traveling in this country, obviously you can drive, which is mint, because you can just put everything in your car and forget about it. And it's so much easier. Like when I went to Italy, it was a lot of stuff to take. It was a lot of stuff. But I mean, you do it, you manage it. But obviously, if you're doing a regional, it'll be in your own country. If you can get one nearer to home, great. If you can't, I would recommend getting an Airbnb, because obviously, or a booking.com, you know, just get yourself an apartment or a flat or a room that's got facilities in it, you know, like a little hob or a microwave, because you will need to keep on top of your food. Because I always like to get there a day before, just so I got time to settle, and usually the registration's the day before anyway. And I usually keep it for 2 nights. So I'll have it for the night that the day before, so that night, the day of, and then the day of I stay there that night as well, because I wouldn't recommend checking out of wherever you are before your show, because you're going to have all your stuff with you. It's very stressful. If you know that you can go back there afterwards, you're far more relaxed, because you know that you haven't got to pack everything. You can go out for dinner and you can get back. If you're going out for dinner, you can get back whatever time you like, and in the morning you can just get up, have a coffee, chill, have a shower, and then drive home. That's what I would recommend. You know, unless your show is on very early in the morning, which is rare. You know, I would definitely recommend that, because it is very stressful. You know, usually checkout times are between 10 and 11 a.m. That's a lot. When you've got to get your hair and your makeup done, and you make sure that your tan is done, that you're checking in with your coach every hour or so, it's a lot. So having one place that you can be makes it a lot easier. Okay, so that's about traveling. Check-ins. You will be checking in Peak Week multiple times a day. I am anyway, with my coach. You know, obviously you check in first thing in the morning, then usually it's like an hour post meal 1, and then an hour post pump workout, and then an hour post meal 2. You know, you're constantly checking in. So be prepared for that, because some of you might be in work all day and have to run to the toilet, put your bikini on and do your check-in, you know. So it depends on your situation. I try and have as much time off as possible before the show, so that I can just chill and get myself mentally ready for it. But yeah, if you are in work, just find yourself a toilet that you can go into. Disabled toilets are usually good, because you know, they're a bit bigger. Take your ring light with you and do it in work. But it is a lot. The posing on Peak Week is a lot. Right, that's that about busyness of Peak Week. What's next? Meal timing. This is really important. I mean, it's important anyway, but it's vital during Peak Week that you get your meals in on time. Me, for example, right? in my last show, we started carb loading on I believe it was the Wednesday, because I was very flat and we needed to carb up. I was eating, I think it was something like 500 grams of carbs. And if you don't time that right and you're stacking meals up and eating them together, you're going to feel really uncomfortable. It's going to affect your digestion. It's going to affect your sleep. It's going to affect the water retention. So you need to space your meals out properly. I did struggle with that because I felt so full. You know, you've been weeks and weeks of like maybe 7 days of zero carb, and then like maybe one small refeed, and then another 7 days, and then all of a sudden you have 3 days where you're eating constantly. You feel really uncomfortable. So stacking those meals too close together, it's not a good idea. I wouldn't, if I was you, you know, even if you're in work, try and make it so that you can eat every 2 to 3 hours, depending on what your carb up's like. Not everybody has a massive carb up. Some people do, some people don't. I've with my current coach Sarah, my carb ups have always been quite heavy because we do get quite lean, and then I need to fill out. And you know, when you're at that level of leanness, if that is even a word, your body kind of just burns through the carbs really quickly. And obviously we put some fats in to slow it down a bit, but it's funny, right? Because all the way through prep, you're thinking about, oh, I want more carbs, because obviously as time goes on, carbs are the easiest thing to cut, you know. They affect you the least. You need your protein, you need some fats. Carbs we can actually live without. So all the way through prep, you're thinking, I can't wait to have a massive bowl of oats or a massive bowl of cream of rice or a bowl of rice or some toast. And then it comes to peak week where you're eating 500 grams of carbs. And during this time, we pull protein back because we don't want to have any digestive issues. So protein portions are tiny, carb portions are huge, and you're just sick of them. I was sick of rice. I was sick of cream of rice. I never wanted to see it ever again. I couldn't wait to eat some chicken and salad. I missed that fresh taste of the salad. So it's funny, you know, that be careful what you wish for, because if you get a massive carb up like I do, you won't be enjoying it. Trust me, you won't be enjoying it. And obviously you have to make time then after each meal to go for a little digestive walk. So that is another thing that you need to take into consideration, because sitting down after eating all that food isn't going to make you feel good either. Excuse me. So that's pretty much it for peak week. You will feel tired. It's strange once you stop doing all that activity. You know, going from doing all that cardio and all those steps and just being on it all the time. The thought of even going in and doing that pump session, which is like a real like mingy thing to do, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. It's like all of a sudden your body's going, I finished now and I don't want to move. So you have to make sure that you keep moving just to keep those carbs moving around your body. And it will make you feel better. Initially, you're like, oh no, I don't want to do it. But you will feel better afterwards. So any questions, hit me up. Yeah, and I think that's it. There might be some more things that I've left out, but they are the main things that I could think of. So speak to you soon. Have a lovely week.